Welcome to the Swift Half, your weekly session of chat from the UK OCR and adventure running scene. Each week, pub landlord Alan and our favourite regular Ian discuss races, runners and anything else that comes to mind. So pull up a pew, pour yourself a drink and join us for the Swift Half.
You're listening to the 34th most popular podcast, whose listeners think that 3 border collies were found not proven in the recent Scottish sheepdog trials.
Ian, my friend, welcome to the Swift Half. How are you?
I'm great, Alan. Welcome to the last day in January 2025.
The first month. You know what that means? I actually said this to Paula the other day, because Paula was saying to me, it's coming up to the end of the month this week. And I went, well, yeah, but I said, just think about it. In 10 months' time, we could put the Christmas trimmings back up.
Yes, you can absolutely put the Christmas tree back up.
Yeah, only 10 more months till the Christmas tree goes back up. 1st of January. 1st of December. So it's end of the month. And what has it been a funny month for you? It felt funny for me.
It absolutely has been a bit of a funny month for me, Alan. It felt really, really slow and then really fast. It almost felt like that time between the 18th and the 22nd lasted forever. You know, you check your watch and it was either a late teen or an early 20, and all the other days seemed to go really fast.
Yeah, I got that. So that third week, it just felt a little bit strange, a little bit flat. I don't know. This week seems to have flown though for me. It seems to I think it may be because I'm looking forward to payday.
Yeah, me too. There was definitely too much month at the end of my money this time.
Exactly. I like that, too much month at the end of my money. But Ian, I'm going to say I'm getting freebies sent to me. It's January, and I've got so many freebies delivered to me this week. It's unbelievable.
What has been sent to you, Alan?
Kit Bricks have gone crazy with me, Ian. They have sent me 100 slap bands. So you know the slap bands you get? Reflective slap bands with Kit Bricks written on them for the awards night. So people can rave with Kit Bricks fluorescent bands.
That's super cool. And I'm glad you clarified it was for the awards night and that you weren't going to randomly go out into the streets of Barnsley slapping these on people's arms.
Oh, that would be a great thing for Kit Bricks, wouldn't it? You know, you just walk in your gym and just go, ching, slap a Kit Bricks thing on their arm. No, I love it.
You know what would happen if you did that?
They'd probably chase me out at gym.
You'd probably end up in jail with 99 of them things. You'd do it once and then you get arrested.
Yeah, you can't do that. I'm not doing it though. They are for the awards night. And they've sent me stickers and some leaflets. I think it's some discount products and some other things. But most of all, Ian, I thought, you had sent me a present, but you haven't.
I have not sent you a present, Alan. I do apologise, but you only have one birthday a year and Christmas isn't now too. So I'm not sending you anything anytime soon.
Well, you've got some cans of Jubel beer for me, and today, as we're recording this, I got home and I forgot my beer. And what did I get delivered? 12 cans of Jubel beer.
That is amazing, Alan. I will confess, I was kind of aware of this. They have been listening to us bantering back and forth. They heard the fact that someone may have drank your side of the collection. So how nice of them. They sent you some.
They did. And I've got one tonight. I've actually pulled it out today because I'm that tight. Why would I go and buy beer if someone sent me beer? So for the next 12 episodes of the Swift Half, I'm going to be drinking Jubel beer. And I have gone with the grapefruit. You had this grapefruit and you said it was very nice.
I did. I mentioned that it tastes very similar to another product that's on the market, but just slightly better.
Oh, you're right, Ian, it does. Oh, my God. That is bloody lovely. I almost swore that on podcast. I never swore on our podcast, I don't think. But I almost did that. That's amazing.
I did tell you. Unfortunately, you'll never be able to drink that other beer again after a run. I know that you tended to go into the Wetherspoons because they sell bottles of that brand and buy one. You're spoiled now.
Oh, Ian, that is it is so grapefruity. It feels like I'm drinking pop.
It's really, really nice. And of course, you've still got peach to come as well.
Peach and blood orange. I've seen there's a blood orange in there as well.
Oh, they didn't send me the blood orange. I didn't get that one.
Woo! Obviously, because you drank mine, you thought they could give me the new one. So I did see a blood orange one. I don't know if there was any more. I saw peach, grapefruit, and the blood orange. But that grapefruit, wow, that is absolutely outstanding. I love that.
Well, Alan, because I didn't feel like drinking a repeat, I will get some Jubel again, but because I've just got the peach and the grapefruit, I didn't feel like drinking a repeat today. So I've gone non-alcoholic, and I've actually got, courtesy of Tesco's, I've got an innocent smoothie bought from the blue. It's a guava, lime, apple, coconut water, blue spirulina, and vitamins. I have no idea what blue spirulina is. Any clue, Alan?
I haven't got a clue yet. So shall we Google that? That's a Google thing, that isn't it?
It really is. And while you're Googling, I'll say that this apparently helps give you some oomph, but I will say not as much oomph as the grapefruit Jubel, to be fair. It's perfectly okay. Here's a question for you, Alan. Does anyone pay full price for an innocent or a naked smoothie, or are they solely sold as part of meal deals?
Oh, I have never paid full price one. I've had one in meal deals, but I have never paid full price for one. I don't. I like a smoothie. I've got to admit, I do like a smoothie. I've got a blender at home, and it does get used quite often. Not as much as I used to use it, because I haven't done protein for a while. So I haven't done the protein powder for a while, which I usually do when I go to the gym quite a lot. But I like make smoothies. I like to make. I know how to make the McDonald's milkshakes with it. So, which I think is absolutely amazing. But no, I wouldn't. I would never buy. Explain, how do you spell that thing again? Blue Spirit.
Blue, obviously the traditional spelling of blue.
Yeah.
But it's Sierra, Papa, Indigo, Romeo, Uniform, Lima, Indigo. I have no idea what N is in phonetic alpha. November and Alpha.
I've got it. So the benefits of blue spirulina is a natural extract derived from certain species of blue and green algae. There you go. It's safe for consumption. Doesn't have no side effects. But it doesn't say it doesn't do anything for you at all, Ian. It doesn't do anything. It's a colouring. Basically, it's a colouring from algae. So although it sounds absolutely amazing, it's a colouring from algae. It does have some antioxidants in it, but it's basically a colouring here. It's the colour you've got.
It's a colouring from algae. So I'm basically drinking, I guess, sea bacteria.
That's it.
Great innocent. Thank you for that. I should have got a can of Jubel. Anyway, should we move on?
Let's move on. First of all, I want to talk about your race. We both had races this weekend. You was in Manchester, I was in Derby. I want to talk about High Rocks because you sent me an edit. We've put it out on Fitness Racing Podcasts. Fitness Racing Podcast. Couldn't get the second podcast out. Talk to me about the wall balls, because you mentioned to me all you put in was wall balls, and that's the headline of the chat. So to our listeners who don't listen to Fitness Racing Podcast, quick overview: what have High Rocks done with wall balls?
High Rocks have added a screen that counts your wall balls now. It is triggered by the actual target. So if you hit the target, it will go up on the screen. If you don't hit the target correctly, and I emphasize correctly, then it doesn't go up. All that the referee does now is check your depth and make sure the right counter is switched on. Because if you're in a mixed doubles, you can use both the top and the lower, depending whether you're a female or a male athlete.
Okay. And I'm presuming it worked absolutely fine, that there were no issues, no technical issues. Everyone was hitting it fine. It registered when the ball just glanced on it, it registered, or when it hit it perfectly, it registered, and there was no issues with it whatsoever because it was technology and technology is the way forward.
Yeah, there were some teething issues. I'd say there's some teething issues. To be fair to High Rocks, they were aware of the potential of teething issues, and they did take steps where they could. So on the Friday night, a major issue was in respect of the female athletes. The ball wasn't being thrown with enough force to actually trigger the target. That's not trying to play into gender stereotypes at all, listener. That is just unfortunately what appeared to have happened. So they changed the sensitivity and it was then working fine. The other aspect was from time to time, Alan, it would get stuck in either the up or the down. So, for example, poor Tony Revel was on a wall ball target, which was stuck just for females. So his wasn't registering. They had to use a manual counter. But of course, every time it hit incorrectly, you get a big screen of red that favors the hotspots. And what was it? Strike It Lucky?
Oh yeah, that one with the walked across the table. Didn't there? We got different prizes, you got top, middle, or bottom, and if you got the wrong one, it was a big X.
Yeah, big hotspot. And yes, that's what you get. So yeah, they had that on the Saturday. They expected that there could be issues. So all the judges, from what I understand, got their iPad, and they also got a manual clicker as well. So the clicker was there to, although they were, I believe, relying on the target to register whether or not it's hit, the volunteer was still clicking the clicker just in case it went down, so they had a count there.
All right, okay, that's not too bad then. That's not too bad. So they made changes on about it.
They did. The difficulty, I had two difficulties with it. One, we know I'm terrible when it comes to hitting a target, so this is my natural enemy. But my main issue was, from my point of view, it was matching my randomness at where the ball ends up, because I can never hit the same point twice. It was matching that randomness with randomly allocating. So if I did happen to hit it the same place twice, one time it would give it me, the other time it wouldn't. It was almost like we were playing a game where I was going round a dartboard. You know that game where you play the dartboard, and the idea is to not get it in the same twice. And if I did get in the same one twice, it wouldn't allocate.
Oh no, that's not great. It's not good. I get new technology, everything else. They will have done lots of testing on this in the past, though, won't they? Ian? You know,
they would, and I should come in and say there was 40 screens there. Not everyone's experience was the same as mine, and perception's reality. In all honesty, I was perceiving it like that, but whether it was or not, who knows? I could have just genuinely missed it when I thought I'd hit the same spot and got a no rep. Conversely, though, the intern loved it. And I found this a few times speaking with mixed doubles, is that the male athlete didn't like it, but female did. And I do have a theory as to why, Alan.
Go on.
Well, you remember how the High Rocks target is set up, so it's joined, yeah?
Yeah.
So if a female throws it low, it will glance the very bottom of the target and then hit nothing else. It will just glance the bottom of the target. That gives a rep. However, if a male athlete throws it low, it kind of goes just below in like the middle, and that's a no rep. So what would be a rep for a female is a no rep for a male.
So the sensor, in theory, picks up the top of the female one, the target, before it picks up the male target, and therefore saying no rep. Would that be
pretty much? And there does look to be actually a sensor right in the middle. So I'm presuming that it also, if you hit the middle, then it is picking it up. But I guess, Alan, conversely, if a female athlete hits it higher, it would roll up into a male target and be a no rep. Whereas if a male hit high, good luck. But if a male hit high, it probably would still give it.
Yeah. Okay. I get that. It does make a bit of sense. I did see some other posts about the change the timing boards and things like that. Are High Rocks going very much down the technical side of things now to make it, because they've always been technical, but it's been very manual. The timings have been technical, giving you your splits for each fitness station and the rock zone and each lap, are they going even more in depth technical wise?
When I park that for a second, I'll come back to that. But final thing, just on the wall balls, like I mentioned, everyone's experience differed. One thing I did dislike about it, and Ugly Dave and Matt B mentioned it on the Hybrid Fitness Weekly show, is it has made the area a little bit, I don't know, less than what it was. The atmosphere isn't the same because now, particularly with mine, the judge was more concerned with looking at an iPad than actually talking to you and geeing you up, if that makes sense.
So
That
more
might vary from
clinical.
judge to judge. Yeah, very more clinical. So that might change as we get more use of technology, but it definitely did feel like what would happen if you gave a judge an iPhone and just let them play on Facebook or whatever. It seemed like they were disconnected to you, whereas previously it has felt, the two of you or the three of you, if you're a doubles, were all in it together and you would get through this. Now it just feels like you're taking on a machine. And I said in the show, I didn't like that, and it made me a little bit angry. And
Mm.
I do worry of people who are not as good at wall balls as some of these athletes obviously are, that it's not a very nice way to finish your race, if that makes sense. Like, I'd compare it in a tough mudder, yeah. Imagine in a tough mudder, rather than finishing with electroshock therapy or pyramid scheme,
Yeah.
imagine finishing with Funky Monkey, and if you fell in the water, you had to go and do a mile run.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. So you don't even like proper finishing. You're gonna go do more. Yeah. Yeah.
So you feel like you're being punished for,
Yeah.
or maybe not even a mile run, but yeah, you could feel more like a failure. Whereas the traditional way to finish Tough Mudder, everyone feels happy, even if you avoid electroshock. It's your choice to have made.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. So as though you if you don't go through electroshock, you don't what's the word? You don't get headband.
Exactly. But like I say, being more skill based as well, and yeah, maybe if you go through electroshock and get shocked, you don't get your headband. You have to avoid it, and that's more skill based in that. But yeah, that's how it felt. It just felt like a bit of a downer way to finish. But I'm sure they'll figure it out. You asked about the timing system. Hyrox have brought the timing system in house. They have, from what I can understand, based on the fact that there's still the same amount of timing mats there, they still seem to be doing the same job. They have done a great job of replicating the Mika timing system, Alan. Okay.
Okay.
What they didn't do was a very good job of building the front end, which is what we all see. So you didn't get what you usually get. So initially on the relays, all you got was a finishing time. You didn't get any breakdown of any stats.
Oh wow.
They have now improved it, so you do get the breakdown of your stats. You don't get rock zone time anymore. It's kind of like built into the running bits, and it's a little bit unclear exactly what your running bit now consists of, which is a bit of a step backwards. Not sure if that'll ever change. The rumors are that it perhaps won't change because the rock zone can confuse people because people don't realize the whole thing's 8.7 as opposed to 8. Whatever. We'll see whether that happens. The other thing, Alan, it only tells you the top three in each age group, so it doesn't tell you where you currently finish in your age group.
Oh wow. And there's nothing in the back end to actually go and see that at this moment in time.
Well, I suspect Hyrox have the stats,
Yeah.
but you can't see the stats. So I suspect they're floating around somewhere in space on a server. They'll be there, but what you're presented with at the moment is basically your race result, your split. It won't tell you, for example, we had a bit of fun with this, didn't we? That, okay, we're terrible at lunges and wall balls, but our farmer's carry was like in top 10%, something like that,
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, but that gamification, yeah, that's all gone at the moment.
Oh, but that's what drives High Rocks athletes, isn't it? Oh, that's what I liked about it. And I know, speaking to people that I've met through High Rocks and fitness racing, that's what they like. They like that breakdown. They like to know how long they actually took from when they hit the farmer's carry to when they actually finished. Not that includes the rock zone, and they want to know when they've done the laps, how fast were them laps, because when you come in, when you're doing a lap and then you're coming into the rock zone, it's not always the same distance to the station to get back out. It's always different. So not every lap's exactly the same lap.
Exactly, and that's why you had the rock zone. So for the example in Manchester, as we were going around our laps, I calculated that when it was time to go to the farmer's carry, you're coming in, you're practically doing a extra length to get to the farmer's carry, which is on the far side, and you're running past the out. So that's why the rock zone was so important, because it took it out of that, and you then get a general idea of how fast you're doing the laps from the out to the in. As you say, Alan, you've now no idea where it is. If you don't finish in the top three at the moment, you don't know where you're finishing in your age group. There have been some other sites which are scraping the data and which are kind of filling this void, but you don't know for sure with these sites because you don't know how they're scraping the data. They could be making mistakes here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah. High Rocks needs to sort that as well, because if someone's scraping data, very soon they'll end up marketing that and doing other things with it, which probably is against some of High Rocks' principles. So they need to, I guess, get on that very quickly. I don't know how fast they will, but they probably do need to get on that quickly. I know I would if it was mine.
Yeah, they have already started to do that. Like a lot of the ones who are doing this are people who do the apps and that. So, like, I won't name any of them, but there's a Summit Fit app. There's a coaching thing, and yeah, they're offering a service there, but you don't know for sure what they're doing. And I don't know about you, Alan. I kind of don't like my personal data being used for stuff I don't agree to, if that makes sense. So if someone's using my personal data to work out the average of X, Y, and Z, I just don't like that. And I know there's an argument whether or not it is personal data, but it's got my name on. You can identify me using that because if you know I'm a really bad runner, which most people do, and you've got my name, you can identify that I did X race on whatever day just by searching their thing. Whereas with High Rocks, you have to know that I did the Manchester race to find me.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, rather than you can't just search for a name and it brings everyone's.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, it is thingy, and it is something that these places do. I guess in terms of using my time to aggregate out, fine, but anonymize it.
I'm going to guess, and I don't know this, but I'm going to guess there might even be some laws broken, some data protection laws broken somewhere along those lines, because when you sign up for, and I will use Overload as an example, yeah, when you sign up for Overload, we share your data. We have the right to share your data. That's in our terms and conditions. But we also have a right to protect that data. So us sharing it, cool. Someone else scraping it and sharing it, we would instantly go to them and send a cease and desist letter because we haven't given them permission to, you haven't given us permission to pass it to them, and therefore we would instantly send a cease and desist letter for using data that is, what's the word? When you own the not copyright.
It's when you're a data processor or a data controller. You're thinking of your intellectual properties.
That's what I'm thinking. Yes, yeah.
But you've also got data control and data processor, and yeah, trying not to get too technical about the whole thing, but it is a valid concern, particularly when these places don't have privacy notes. I know people argue, oh, well, it's in the public domain. Yes, but it's in the public domain being used for a purpose that High Rocks have told me they'll use it. That doesn't mean anyone can use it. A lot of people, as you know, and I'm getting right in the weeds of this, Alan, a lot of people have got in trouble for using data that they think, oh, it's in the internet, I can use it. And they get massive fines because they don't realize it being in the public realm doesn't give you the right to do it. So marketing companies, for example, have got in trouble, particularly stuff like LinkedIn. Someone will, I'm not sure if you're on LinkedIn, but some people used to use their LinkedIn list, download it, and then use it as a marketing email list, and that got clamped down on.
Yeah, you can't do that. I haven't had. I hope I haven't had that. I am on LinkedIn, but I hope I haven't. No one's downloaded mine and sent it to me. That'll be weird.
Yeah, but like I say, it's just a concern. Hopefully, Hyrox are working on the front end, and soon it will be exactly, well, not precisely, but give you the same experience you've always had. Um, as you can imagine, Alan, like all kinds of changes, the Hyrox Society is very similar to the OCS community. There was no upset. No one was annoyed at this. Everyone was just calm, collected, and prepared to give Hyrox time to make necessary changes.
I don't believe a word you're saying, Ian.
Yeah, it's not been great on the forums this past week.
Oh
Oh,
gosh. Before we talk about
oh.
what I did the weekend, what other fitness racing news have we got to talk about this week?
Yeah, we might as well go through that. Alan, when's an announcement not an announcement?
When's an announcement? Not an announcement. When everyone knows about it.
I guess. But here's one for you. What about if you can't work out what the announcement actually was?
Yeah, that's exactly the same. Yeah, don't tell me who's made an announcement that we don't know what it means.
Right. Well, Hyrox on either Sunday night or Monday morning just did their usual proof piece after a race saying, awesome job, everyone. Well done. And then just at the bottom of that said, everything changes again, or words to that effect. They're grandiose with their things. Watch this space. Everything changes again on the 28th of January, 2025, which was Tuesday. Yep.
Yeah. So what happened Tuesday?
Well, it came and went, and nothing happened except a couple of posts that they put up. And then on the Wednesday, there were a couple more things that happened, and I have no clue which one of these was meant to be the announcement.
So what we're trying to say then here is that Hyrox have announced have actually employed a new intern that once worked at Tough Mudder.
More than likely, but yeah, because on the Tuesday, what was announced was the start list for Las Vegas, which is happening, well, early tomorrow morning as you're listening to this, or early Saturday morning, because it's happening 6 p.m. local time in Vegas, which is about 2 a.m. or whatever our time the next day. So they announced that on the Tuesday, but that didn't feel like the announcement because, of course, you expect them to do that. Then on the Wednesday, they announced that a new way of becoming a Hyrox registered coach. That maybe could have been the announcement, but you don't know. It didn't feel like a game changer.
Yeah.
And then they announced that Hyrox Glasgow spectator tickets are now on sale alongside the photography packages. And again, that could be the announcement. I have no idea, but it didn't feel like a game changer.
And if all our listeners could see my face now, I am completely dumbfounded too, because I have no idea. None of them are game changers. They're just, okay, that's just news here. They're just news stories.
Yeah, exactly. I feel horrible. We gave not a massive kicking on the UKHXR podcast, but we gave them a little bit for what they've done with various things. I just feel like I'm beating up on them this week, listener, but it's meant in good fun. I've no clue what the announcement, and if anyone knows, let us know and we'll announce it next week.
Oh, I like that. Well, we will announce it next week if someone can tell us, please.
Oh gosh. Right. Other quick news. Deadly Dozen, as you know, they're expanding worldwide. This week we'll probably share it in the pub, but they got a news article in South Africa, which is honestly kind of incredible when you consider this is a very small race from Macclesfield, which has just grown, it was originally one guy. He's got a lot of helpers and his team's grown a bit. But women's stuff in South Africa, UK fitness race, Deadly Dozen comes to Cape Town in 2025. How amazing is that?
That's absolutely fantastic news that something's growing and going global.
It really is. And the final bit of news, let's chat about Decca Italia. Um, they're trying to launch Decca in Italy. They're doing a Decca Italia series, which is kind of cool, to be fair. They are having 2 miles, 2 strongs, and a Deca Fit. And their top mile, their top strong, and their scoring the fit event will contribute to their final score. I love this, Alan. It's kind of like a localized trifecta series.
Yeah, this sounds amazing. Um, it's great that we've got the Decker side of Spartan, because I like to call them Spartan, but the Decker side of them coming in and doing a series and things like that, because that's what Spartan's always done. So it's great that they're going to have a Decker series, which could and probably will, in theory, challenge High Rocks at some point.
Yeah, very, very much so, because High Rocks does have the risk when tickets are such a hot ticket, as we saw in OCR with Tough Mudder, people will get bored with trying to train for something they don't know whether or not they can get in. So they'll gravitate towards things like Deadly Dozen, towards Decker, because you can get tickets for them. And Alan, do you want to know the best thing about this Decker series?
Go on.
Just think, if it's a success, maybe we could have a Deca trifecta World Championships to go alongside the regular Deca World Championship. Spartan does need another World Championships.
That's actually a valid point, yeah. We could have the Decker trifectas. Oh, you've done it now. Joe's going to listen to this and he's going to go, I'm stealing that idea now. We're copyright. Joe, we're copyrighting that before we put it out.
Oh God. Oh God. That's all the fitness news. Before we move on to OCR news, I've got a bit of sad news, Alan.
Oh, go on, tell me.
I'm not saying these two things are related, but do you remember when you came to Manchester for your theatre night?
I do, yes.
You ate at a burger place called Almost Famous.
Oh, it was beautiful. The burgers were absolutely to die for. I loved it how you didn't get knife and forks. It were all in your little trays. Oh, Ian, they were amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Well, this past Monday, it closed down with immediate effect.
Oh, no way. Oh, why is that? Have they said liquidation?
Liquidation. Apparently, after 13 years, they had too much debt. They couldn't carry on as a ongoing concern. It sadly has become a lesson in how not to wind up a business because no one but the owners had any idea they were actually in trouble. They then rang up their team leaders, who then made their staff aware they were redundant via WhatsApp. But as often happens with WhatsApp, not everyone got the message. There wasn't a centralized way of telling everyone. And a lot of people found out they were unemployed via social media.
Oh, no. So, right. So that's bad news, but I can turn this into good news, Ian, right? Are you working back in Manchester this week?
I'm not sure if I am. I possibly
I
am.
need you to go and knock on the door because they've got a table in there. As you walk in the door, you turn left, there's a table. It's one of these resin tables, and it's got like all Lego thing pieces in it and game pieces. I want it. Ask them if we can buy that from them, please.
Well, we can, I guess, reach out to the liquidators and see what we can do because it will be a fixture and fitting that will be owned, and I'm sure you'll get so. Although, Alan, what this story did resonate with me, and we try not to depress people, but it does feel recently like everyone's feeling the pinch a little bit. I'm not sure, Alan. Have you felt the pinch a little bit recently?
I have, Ian. I'm going to honestly say, yeah, I have. And I do think a lot of people in OCR are feeling the pinch. And I guess it's a little bit, we're not planned on this, but this is a little bit of a segue to the awards night. You know, at this moment in time, if we had to make a decision right now on, as we're recording this Friday morning, if we had to make a decision right now on Friday morning, the awards night's not going to go ahead. And I'm going to give a refund to everyone. And I'll be straight up and say that. Because we haven't got to a point now where we're even going to break even. And come Monday, there is a bill to be paid that it's £1,500. It's the deposit, a non-refundable deposit to Reigate Manor. Have we got enough money for that? Yeah, we've probably just got enough money in the kitty for that. But we won't have enough money to pay the rest of the thing unless we get more people signed up. I'm going to put a shout out now. If you're planning on going to the awards, and I actually did this on Wednesday of this week as well. If you're planning on going to the awards, fill in the form this weekend. All right. Commit yourself to going. Yeah. You can have a week or 10 days to pay me. I'm cool with that part. Commit to going, because unless we hit that magic number of 70 people, then we lose money. Straight up. And I'm not prepared to lose money. I would sooner cancel the event, give everyone a refund that's paid me, and apologise. And, rather than us lose money, we don't make a penny on this. This is all gone out there. But we've got to have a minimum of 70 people attending just to cover the costs.
So, listener, if you are on the fence, please make up your mind ASAP, because at the end of the day, as you're listening to this, we're only 4 weeks out anyway. So you kind of should know now whether you're in or out. And if you're out, that's fine. But if you're in, please sorry out. Otherwise, though, if you are all out, Alan's then got 100 of these slap bands that he's no idea what to do with, which, whilst hilarious, I would rather give them to all of you. So yeah, please make a decision. Yeah, and if you're out, maybe reach out to Alan and just drop him online and just let him know why, so that we can take that feedback on board. But yeah, I'll admit I'm feeling the pinch a little bit. I'm not actually paid yet as we're recording this, because I've been waiting for payday to be able to pay it. And yeah, I'll also, what do you call it when you don't walk something back, but clarify. I will clarify that in terms of feeling the pinch. Listen, I'm okay. I'm not destitute. Everything's fine. I'm not selling the tortoises to make ends meet, but it does feel like I have, as we said at the end, too much month at the end of the money. So everything that I used to do maybe 2 to 3 years ago, I can no longer do.
Yeah.
So it's not a great time. And I can only imagine if I'm feeling like that, a lot of you are feeling like that as well. So we're all having to prioritize different things. And if attending the UK OCR Awards is no longer a priority for you this year, that is absolutely fine.
Definitely.
Just let us.
Yeah. And a big thank you to everyone who's already said they're going to come, or even the ones who've already paid me, because I've got money from people and that. And like I say, if it doesn't go ahead, I am going to refund everyone. There is no doubts about this. You will all get the money back. We just need to get that mark of 70. I'm happy if we get really close to it. I don't mind losing £100 or £200 myself to put them on, because it's a great evening and well worth it. But I can't go, as UK will say, I can't go to afford it, lose any more. Simple as that. So please let us know.
Yeah, it's a nice way to kill off the podcast. And yeah, we're probably regretting now making sponsorship that little bit cheap, but it would have been nice to use that for a bit of slush fun. But hey, you live and learn, eh, Alan?
Yeah, we do. Talking about tight things and that, though, Ian, as in money being a bit tight, the spine race tickets have gone on sale. Well, they're not gone on sale yet, but it's been announced, the spine race for 2026. So it's going to happen. The big ones are going to happen on 30th of January, but they've brought some other events out. So we've now got a sprint south here, which is, I'm actually thinking about doing this. So this is going to happen on the 10th of January, and it's only 46 miles, starting Edale and going up to the Burcliffe Centre in Hebden Bridge, which is near you. So I've got 46 miles to do it in. This could be my race for next year.
Let me clarify that. The Spine South, that doesn't mean it's happening on the south. That means you're just doing the southern bit of the spine.
That's right. Yep, you're doing the southern bit of spine, starting from Edale near Sheffield, going up towards Hebden Bridge. 46 miles. There are cut-off times, but hey, I'm liking this. This is like an entry-level spine race, because anyone who's into ultra running wants to do the spine race. It's like, it's the holy grail of ultra running, 268 miles in the depths of winter. But there's no way could I do it. You know what I mean? And so many people who are into ultra running, they know they can't do it, and that's why they don't enter. I mean, it's so expensive as well. But the Sprint South, I think it's an amazing entry level. and I say entry level because, but don't get me wrong on this when I say this, you've still got to be a decent athlete to actually cover the 46 miles. I've done 22 of them. I've done 22 of these miles, and it took me nearly 9 hours to do 22 miles. You are going up and down constantly. This is not a flat race, and people say, this, but so, can you do it in 2 days? I don't know. You get 2 days to do it. And yeah, I think you could, but it's a challenge.
So you get 2 days. So does that mean you need to take a biffy bag as well, so you can sleep on course if you need to?
Oh, there's more to just that, Ian. There is much more than just a bivy bag. You have got to take, and I'm actually going to do an article on this, Ian, because I found it quite interesting. The price of some equipment that you can buy. So the top athletes, they're taking full on sleeping bags with them because you've got to carry a sleeping bag. You have got to carry, I think it's minimum of 2 liters of water with you. You've got to carry food for at least 3 days. Even though you're going to be out there for 2 maximum, you've got to carry food for 3 days. You've got to carry more clothing, headlamps, a stove. You've got to literally carry everything apart from the kitchen sink. And the kitchen sink might even be thrown in there next year. I don't know. But I'm going to have a look at it. I'm going to download the race pack, see what you need, and I'm going to put it on the UKOCR website in the next couple of weeks with prices for everything, anyone who wants to do it. Because I'm interested and I want to know how much it's going to cost me.
What's the date on this one?
So the Sprint South is on the 10th of January. So they all start at different times throughout January because you've got the Sprint South and then you've got the so you've got the Spine at 268 miles, the Sprint South at 46, the Challenger North at 160 miles, and the Challenger South at 108 miles. There is actually also team events for the 106, 108 mile ones. But yeah, so you've got 4 different races. It's going to be, whichever one you do is going to be tough, but I think you can't do the full Spine unless you've done one of the challenge races, the 108 milers.
That's good. How much is the South one? Have you looked that up yet?
It's not out yet. The tickets are not out. It does say they're coming out this week, or it says very, very soon. It actually says on the email. So I've signed up for the email. It says very, very soon. So as soon as I know, I'll let everyone know.
And the big question from me is, are you going to be taking a blindfold to get you over that motorway?
Yes. And talking about that, which is quite interesting that you mentioned the motorway up, because this week I did the Wilmot Wonder, yeah, and I'm using this a bit of a segue. I did the Wilmot Wonder, 33 miles roughly, I want to say it was. Nearly 200 people took part, walking and running, which is great for a Scouts thing. It was £20 a head. You couldn't go wrong at £20 a head. I underestimated it. I'm going to say straight up here now, I underestimated it. I thought I was going to go round and have a merry bimble with Jamie because he'd been coming back from an injury, and it was a very merry bimble. But it seemed to go really quickly, and I didn't nutrition up early enough at the start of the race. So I proper underestimated. If I'd have been racing it on my own, I'd have been conscious of drinking water, taking on caffeine bullets on a regular basis, any other food I would have been taking, all the way through it. We hit the first checkpoint, which was 4 miles in, and I'd not even had a drink of my water. I'd had no drink of any fluid whatsoever, and I took no nutrition at that point. And then when we got to the second checkpoint, which was 10 miles in, I'd had 2 caffeine bullets, and I'd not even drank half a 500-meter bottle of water. So I was well under my hydration and nutrition things. But I didn't feel I was still running well. And it wasn't until I got to 25 mile that it proper affected me, and I really, really struggled. And Jamie really, he had been nutritioning right, and he carried me through the last few miles. But at a 33-mile race, Ian, at mile 32, I had to go over a bridge, over a motorway, which was scary. I had to, there was no other way around it either. You couldn't go any other way. You had to go over this bridge. I literally got to the bridge, looked down at the floor, so all I could see was my feet, and I got blinkers on and just kept on running in a straight line until I got to the side. It wasn't a nice feeling.
No, I can't imagine it is. I'm sorry, listener. It sounds like I'm poking fun and laughing. I promise I'm not.
Jamie was.
Yeah. at least it's like ripping a band-aid off, I guess, because you've never seen that bridge before. Ripping a band-aid off, it's probably done you well, and you can now do the spine racer south. But it's interesting you talk about nutrition there, because I've had that once when I did. Do you remember the whole rat race used to have that run as many 5K laps as you could?
Oh, yes, I can. What was it called? Runathon? Was it Runathon or something like that?
Runner form, something like that. And I was very similar on that because it was only 5Ks. I just wasn't really taking any nutrition on. And then around about, I want to say 25K in, it's not that far. I just completely hit a wall. I've never had that before. And I couldn't figure out why.
This was exactly the same. In literally 25, 26 miles in, I felt all my energy just deplete. We got to the next checkpoint, which I think was about 27 miles in. We ran them 2 miles at like a 16-minute mile pace. At that point, I just got as much water down me as I could. And I got some salt tablets. I put some salt tablets in the water. I just drank as much as I could to get me through. But the last 5 miles, I want to say, it was a tough 5 miles.
I can imagine, Alan. Did you learn anything else from this race?
I learned that there's a wolf runner faster than me.
How did you learn that?
Me because Anthony Spaulding went, so big shout out to Anthony there. He overtook me. I was about 10 miles in, and he was wearing a wolf runner shirt. So there's a wolf runner out there faster than me. I didn't know it was him as he overtook me. Me and Jamie was just talking away as he went past us. Looks like he was running really well. I don't know where he came in, but it looks like he was running very well. So big shout out to him. Well done, Anthony.
Well done, Anthony. And speaking of shout outs, I know we've kind of closed the chapter on fitness racing, but big shout out obviously to the intern for running alongside me and to Kieran and Amanda who started, I want to say, half an hour after us and finished probably an hour before us. It's the way it works sometimes, I guess. But we went to Society afterwards, which was a lot of fun. And it reminded me how much I do miss that early days of OCR where you would just go out after an event and meet up and grab some food. Because often with High Rocks, the problem is because it's usually, I don't know, a 2-day event or a 3-day event, and everyone's finishing at different times unless you're in the same division. And even if you're in the same division, one of you could be going out at 8 a.m., the other one could be going out at 1 p.m. You just don't get that same thing that you used to do with an OCR where you'd all go out after it. And I do think that's something High Rock should look at, ways to make it easier for people to get waves near each other. Not necessarily in the same wave, but a nice way so that you could then plan out your day and just meet up with a big group of you.
Mass booking, Ian. Mass team booking. So if you book a team of 15 or more, they gave you all the same wave time.
Yeah, that would be really good. Like I say, at the moment you can do it where they'll charge you and put you in the same wave. But I guess the issue is if some of you are running Saturday and Sunday, it just doesn't work the same. Whereas with an OCR, because you're all running together, or you can easily run together, it's easier to organise. And the other aspect is often on a Sunday, you just don't want to go home, don't you? You don't want to. We were lucky in that our waves were mid-morning, so perfect for heading Society at 2 o'clock for, well, in their case, a burger and a beer. In my case, I can't remember what I had. I think I might have had katsu chicken and a non-alcoholic beer. It was actually delicious.
Love it. I love katsu chicken.
Where did katsu chicken come from? In that, for years and years and years, it didn't feel like it existed. And then suddenly, it's almost like, I don't know, the third or fourth most popular Chinese food.
Well, the first time I ever tried it was in, I don't know if you remember, they used to do, a company called Gold Nutrition used to do little boxes of food. The frozen, you bought them, you took them, put in your microwave, and it was like proper food, but like literally instant proper food. And it was high in nutrition. And I was going through that phase of, I can't be bothered to cook. I'm a single bloke. What do I eat? I eat takeaways that are high in nutrition because I was trying to trade, or it looked good, the packaging looked good. So that's where I found it, quite a while ago. But it's just one of them things. It's just like so tasty.
It really is. Although I hate it when you order katsu chicken and it's not katsu curry. They've just used like a chip shop curry.
Yes. I've never had that, but I could imagine that would not be good.
No, I think sometimes Spoons does that when it can't get the katsu sauce. It will just do a chip shop curry. We're on to your Spoons. Speaking of Spoons, whenever I think of Spoons, I always think of the running show because that's where we always end up. I wasn't there because I was at High Rocks. You weren't there because you were running over motorway bridges. I believe Steve was there from the Solo Mudders. Um, Looked like it was fun, but Alan, did VJ make an announcement?
The day it was a surprise from my understanding. Big thanks to Libby for telling me about this, which is a podcast that's coming out Monday when I speak to her. But they brought over the new VJ Ultra, so they've revamped the new VJ Ultra, put high stack on it, wider toe box, and they purposely have not put it on sale in the UK. But the running show, they brought over several hundred pairs. So if you're at the running show, you had a chance to get the new VJ Ultra. It's great, I think, when a company does that. I am a little bit gutted that they didn't advertise it more.
No, I'm guessing it kind of served its purpose of it's got a little bit of excitement and it's almost like underground. And if you were one of the lucky ones who were able to get there while they still had your size in stock, you'll be buzzing right now.
Oh, without a doubt. And they look so good. They look much better than the green VJ Ultras. Yeah, I like them. Might invest in a pair. I'm not going to say if I am or not yet. I've got too many running shoes at the moment, Ian. And yeah, I don't know if I want another pair. I'm going to say I probably will do at some point, but just maybe not straight away.
That's fair. That is fair. But I'll be honest, don't have a lot more notes about the running show this year. It does seem within our friendship group, at least, there was definitely a drop off in the number of people who turned up. It's interesting, but I guess the problem is the running shows now find itself competing with things as well because you have that race. I know yours was a local race. But you had High Rocks, you had a few other races going on. Traditionally, it kind of had the weekend to itself, and no, that's just not the case.
I was going to go in. I'm going to say I was going to go. I did have a ticket, but when I went to FitFest, I've got to admit I was peeved off. I think I said it on the podcast with the parking charge of £18, and I was going to go to the running show. I was really going to go to it, and I just thought, why would I want to go and pay £18 parking? Now I don't know if they charge for parking, but because I've been to another event at the NEC and got charged 18 quid, it put me off from going. And I know that there weren't as many free tickets going around this year as what the norm is for the running show. Normally, you can pick up a free ticket left, right, and centre. There weren't as many going around. Do they need to give free tickets away now? Maybe not. Maybe there's enough people going, that are purchasing tickets, so they don't need to give any. But it was the parking for me, and I was so annoyed having to pay parking because I can't justify anywhere paying £18 parking.
No, I'd agree. And if I was going down to a running show, I'd probably pay a little bit more to stay at the hotel that's nearby where I get free parking. Well, at least I've got a nice hotel room out there. I always have an issue with paying for parking because it feels like you're paying for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. If I go next year, I will probably end up parking somewhere else free of charge and catching a train or something like that. A cheapest train.
Absolutely. Or you park at events, not Event City, whatever it's called, Resorts World, where you can get parking for like a fiver or something like that, which I don't begrudge paying a fiver of that, providing they protect my car. But 18, no, that's I'm with you on that, Alan. Speaking of things which I'd rather avoid, Spartan announced a Gogi, and I would never do an Gogi in my life, but this came like a bit of a bolt from the blue because I thought this part of Spartan was dead.
Funnily enough, so did I. So I'm going to say a big thank you to John Jollies for sending me this because I thought the Gogi was no more. But it's a thing. And it's happening in March, 70 miles, Ruck March through the legendary landscapes of Sparta in Greece. And we've got some athletes going from Britain.
There's actually crazy people.
There is. So we've got Dawn going. Dawn Jollis is going. Owen Grufford, Emma Kirkwood, Ruth Battersea, James Richmond, John Brown, and this is embargoed in this one. Okay. This is embargoed because they haven't told their partner yet. All right. So I don't know what date it's going to be embargoed to. So I'm sorry, Mr. Hans, but if Robbie has not told you, she's going. She's going. Take this as note that Robbie is going, because I know she hasn't told me yet. But Robbie Hans is also going. So yeah, there you go. I've told him now, Robbie. So yeah, he knows whether you've told him or not. I've told him.
Right. Okay. Sorry, Ver, if we have just broken an embargo, but it happens. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. I'm sorry. I've got to break the news. You know, it's you didn't give me a date. I thought, well, I'm going to announce it today. Talking about the news, this is not embargoed, but we talked about nuclear the other week. I don't know if you remember. I brought up nuclear and the nuclear tribe, which is going to be happening later on this year. So rather than the nuclear weekend that they've always had, they're doing the nuclear tribe race. Tickets are currently on sale and they are only £36 Ian. So the Mud Tribe, I do believe it's 6th of September. You get your medals, you get 2 photos, spectator entry, bag drop, hot wash, and prices are only 36 quid, mate.
That is ridiculously cheap, and we should have waited to say that news until next week, when we're not asking people to come to the awards.
Yeah, we should have. Yeah. Maybe we should have. Hey, I'm going to share good news, because is it me? And maybe we could say something, but no, I'm going to say, is it me or are prices of events coming back to what I would say a realistic price? Because we've seen them go up and up and up, you know, over the years. I've been to some events where I've paid like nearly 80, 90 quid to jump over some horsey style fences in a field over 5 kilometres, you know, and thought, wow, I've just wasted all that money. You know, we're back in 2013, 2014, them type of events were like £25. Are we seeing events dropping their prices back to a realistic level?
Well, I think prices will naturally meet demand. At the moment, whilst we love OCR, I think it's fair to say it's a little bit down on what it has been previously. We've said probably this for the last couple of years or so. There will be events which are almost bucket list events, which could probably charge whatever they want. Like World's Toughest Mudder coming to the UK. If they wanted to milk that for a little bit more, they probably could. I'm not saying you should, Tough Mudder. You know, don't listen to this if you work for Tough Mudder, but they could. You know, certain nuclear events of all, you know, they'll never gauge prices anyway, but certain nuclear events, kind of like Iconic and that, like Nuts for Lapper. You know, Wayne, if he wanted to, could set that at a higher price because it is so iconic. Correct, Alan?
It certainly could. 55 quid. It is currently 55 quid, Ian. I mean, it's about, you can go to Nuts in the day, come to the awards in the evening, you paid £120. That's cheaper than a Tough Mudder ticket.
Is quite true when you think about it like that, Alan. But yeah, it's just remarkable, and it is good in a way that it is meeting the current demand, because that means if someone looks on something like Nuts and thinks, you know what, 55 quid for a day out, that sounds cool. Let's go and do that. Whereas when it gets expensive, when it gets to the 3 figure, you're then giving people an excuse not to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you. I mean, I'll be honest here. I'll turn around and say that my money, so the money I earn, I like to put some money away, you know, to one side to pay for an holiday. I like to put money away for my car. I do have a couple of bank accounts where I put little bits in so that I know that. So my car fund is currently standing at about £2,000. You know, I put £100 a month in that. You know, so I want a new car at some point, and I put money in for my holiday. So when it comes to disposable income, where I could just say, right, I can go and spend this amount of money any month, I am probably down to about £100. Maybe a little bit more, but not that much more. So I have to be a little bit mindful of what events I do. And I think that's probably always been my disposable income. But I remember back in 2014, 2015, there were events out there that were £25, Mud, Sweat and Beers, Muddy Furlong, events like that, they were £25. So I tend to find out I would book one or maybe two of them a month and then book a more expensive one, or maybe do two of them and then not do another one, but in the month after go down and do a big event, that was maybe £75, £80, which back then was potentially nuclear, and that. So are we now coming back down? I don't know. I'm just going where I am. So I'm always looking for events, and if I can find events that are £25, I'll do more of them. That's just me. I've always paid for my tickets. Not very often I've had freebies to go to places, but I've nearly always paid for my ticket.
No, exactly. And what we're seeing is like High Rocks has kind of become the new Tough Mudder in that, thinking about Manchester, they were mob-handed for volunteers because a lot of people are now volunteering to get that free ticket like they used to at Tough Mudder because it costs around the same.
Yeah, yeah. Well, how many volunteers were there? Was it a lot?
There was a ton of volunteers. I was volunteering because I actually enjoy it, Alan. That's not meant to sound surprised, but we volunteered once just to see how it was, and I do really enjoy it. And I was on the ski erg, and I think at one point when there was the overlap between the shift change, I think there was like 12 of us on the ski erg.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Did Jen volunteer as well, or did Jen just have a relaxing day?
Jen just had a relaxing day. I think we actually got a hotel the Friday night because I was streaming on the Friday, and then on the Saturday I was going volunteering. So we got a hotel. We got one with a late check-in. So I think Jen was watching old episodes of Frasier and playing on her Nintendo Switch. I think she got a better deal, to be fair, rather than getting up early. But we then met a couple of friends afterwards.
Oh wow! I'm watching a bit more television recently. We'll talk about Tony Corner before we go. Television Corner. I'm watching something called Strike at this moment in time. It's like I won't say it's a 4 or 5 year old program about a detective in London with one leg. He's got a prosthetic leg. I find it quite interesting, these crime dramas.
Yeah, I have not had my crime phase for a bit. The last time I was in a crime phase, Castle was on TV, which was really good. Go and watch it if you can. Jen ended up with Amazon Prime because they eventually got her. You know how when you order from Amazon, there's sign up to Prime. What? You don't want to sign up to Prime? Just untick this box if you don't want to sign up to Prime, that kind of thing. They eventually got her, so we've ended up with 30 days of Prime. And we've watched, at the moment, probably both the worst and best game show I've ever seen, Alan.
Go on, what's the worst and best game show?
It's called Mr. Beast Games. I have no idea who Mr. Beast is. I believe he's a YouTuber. But it's one of these weird things which is, I'm trying to think of, it's like Takeshi's Castle without a lot of the skill, in that they started with 1,000 people and they're gradually eliminating them doing silly tasks, like people volunteering to be eliminated, that kind of thing. But they're competing for $5 million, Alan.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's some serious money.
That really is. And say, you kind of hate yourself for watching it because it's cruelty. You've got 999 people there who aren't going to walk away with much except being humiliated on national TV, or that kind of thing. And then you read stories about how it was, and it sounds like horrific generally, but it's not horrific like in a Squid Games way or in a endurance type way, if you remember that old horrible Japanese TV show. But it is mental torture, and you feel bad watching it, but you can't turn away. It's like a slow moving car crash.
Oh, and there's TV Corner gone for us.
Yeah, right. Let's move away from that. I think there's maybe one more piece of news that's about Boss.
British Obstacle Sports. I've teamed up with Notch. So if anyone remembers Notch, there's a few things out there. You can now get your British Obstacle Sports bracelet, and they're doing things like the British Champs and things like that. If anyone's got a Notch out there, and these are these bracelets that go around your wrist with little things on. I want to say they are the Pandora bracelets of sport in achievements. That's a good. I should market that, shouldn't I? The Pandora bracelet of sporting achievements.
You really should, except I think Notch, although we don't use the tagline, I think they have a step on you in terms of bringing product to market.
Yeah, they do, yeah. Anyway, that's what they are. So British Obstacle Sports have teamed up with them. So if you're a big fan of British Obstacle Sports, go check it out.
Perfect, Alan. I think on that, we're all out of news. Again, listener, not to bang the drum too much, please decide what you want to do about UK or see our awards and whether you want Alan to end up with a Lord or bands just there. Other than that, I'm going to say it's goodbye from me.
And listeners, I hope you've enjoyed today. We've gone a little bit off topic, but I hope you enjoyed that. In the meantime, you stay safe, you keep on running, and we will speak to you all soon. Bye.